What are these weird looking cubes? Well, these are Japanese curry cubes. They're basically a condensed thickening block full of flavor. This is one of my food hacks to make Japanese curry in no time. It literally turns your stew of meat and vegetables into a Japanese curry in 5 minutes. Let me show you how I like to make it. You can find these curry blocks at a local Asian market. The brand that I got is called Golden Curry. This pack will contain enough for many meals. You're going to need a couple base ingredients for this. I'm going to be using potatoes, carrots, and onions. Adding a protein like chicken or beef will make it a lot more flavorful, so if you have it, definitely add it in. For our carrots, going to cut off both the ends and then peel them. Once they're all peeled, we're going to want to cut them to roughly the same size. We will try to cut the carrots to the same size of the potatoes so they cook evenly. I like to cut carrots in these diamond shapes by cutting them on the opposite ends, and as we make it to the more skinnier end, we'll make each piece a little bit longer so it accounts for the size. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just try to make it as close as you can. And for the potatoes, the bigger ones I will cut in half, and then the smaller ones I'll just leave it as they are. Put the carrots and potatoes in a strainer and then give them a good rinse. For the onions, cut off both the ends, cut it in half, and then peel the outer layer. And I'm going to give the onions a rough chop here, similar size to the carrots and potatoes, and I'll leave the onions with the potatoes and carrots in the strainer. Now that all the vegetables are prepped, we can start cooking the curry. Get a large pot that will be able to hold all the vegetables, and heat some oil on medium-high heat. At this point, if you're going to be using a protein like chicken or beef, you should sear it first for a couple minutes to get some browning, and then after that, go in with the vegetables. Since I'm not using any proteins here, once the pot is hot, I'm going to go in with all the vegetables. Stir occasionally, and cook the vegetables for a couple minutes until they start to get soft. And after about 5 minutes or so, this is when we have to go in with our liquid. You want to add enough liquid till all the vegetables are covered. You can use water, but I'm actually going to be using chicken stock. This is some chicken stock that I made a while ago that I just froze, and I'll throw in the whole frozen block. This should be enough to cover all the vegetables. Turn the heat back on to high to get the water boiling, and then once boiling, cover, turn it down to a simmer, and let it simmer for about 15 minutes or until the vegetables are fully cooked through. I'm just poking the vegetables with a knife, and if they go through easily, then we know it's done. Turn off the heat, and now we can add our curry cubes. I'm only going to start off with 2 for now, but if you're going to be making a bigger batch, you could be using 3 or 4. Throw them in, and then keep mixing till they dissolve. It might get stuck to the pot, so try to scrape it off if it does. Once the curry cubes are fully incorporated, we will turn the heat back on to medium and let it simmer for another 5 minutes. This is going to help thicken the curry even more, but if you don't want your curry to be too thick, I recommend pulling it off earlier because it will continue to thicken as it cools down. After 5 minutes, this is what it looks like. The curry has thickened up quite a bit, and at this point you can just serve it over rice and enjoy. But I want to try something a little bit different. I'm going to make a Katsu curry, and instead of serving it over rice, I'm going to try to serve it over some Shanghai noodles. Katsu is a thin slice of meat, either chicken or pork, that is bread in panko and then deep fried. I'll be making another video on how I made Katsu, and I'll have a link to it in the video and also in the description below. And if you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you. So for the noodles, they came in this block that's kind of stuck together. And the easiest way to pull them apart is to heat some water up in a pot. It doesn't have to be boiling, but just so that it's pretty hot. And once the water is really warm, we'll throw in our noodles, and we'll keep mixing them until they all start pulling away from each other. And then we can just drain our noodles, and that's it. Alright, time to put everything together. I'm going to take some of these noodles, and after thinking about it, I probably should have stir-fried the noodles, just to add a little bit more flavor. Maybe next time I'll try that out. Next we'll go with some of our curry here. Gonna make sure to get a little bit of everything. At this point, the curry got really thick. I think it's because I left it in the pot while I was making the katsu. If you do want a more thinner curry, maybe don't simmer it for as long, or take it out of the pot when you're done cooking it. Add our sliced cutlet here. I added a little bit more curry on top of the cutlet, and I like to add this Japanese spice. It's called togarashi, and it's this mixture of chilies, and it adds this hearty spice to the curry. And that's it. Katsu curry noodles. And this is why I love those Japanese curry cubes. It makes making the curry so easy, and all the ingredients are really cheap. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and a comment. I would love to hear back from you. I hope you guys enjoy your day. And go make some Japanese curry. You won't regret it.